Okay, so here we are again with a new video on the infamous Galaxy Z Fold 2. Now this time around, I'm giving you guys my initial thoughts. These are not first impressions. We've already done that. We covered that in the unboxing video. This time around, I'm telling you how I feel about using this phone for 3 days straight. Let's not waste any time. Let's jump right into it. Okay, so to start off, I am still very excited to use, extremely satisfied to use this phone. Now, it doesn't make it a perfect phone for you. You know, clearly it has pros, like tons of them, and maybe some cons. If you actually really look for it, you actually reach, I mean, at this point, I'm just reaching, trying to figure out what the cons are on this phone. There's maybe a couple stuff that I may want to mention, but other than that, nothing really crazy. I mean, I personally have looked so hard for things to complain about on this phone, but I just cannot seem to find that many on the actual phone itself. But anyways, if you did watch my unboxing video, then that means that you already knew that I went for this Mystic Bronze variant, which is just so beautiful in real life. That polished metal feel and this matte finish, I mean, is just amazing. And I cannot emphasize this enough. This thing is extremely premium. I mean, when you're holding it, you know that you are holding a very expensive device. I mean, that $2,000 is literally tangible. Like, this is it right here. You're holding it, you feel like you're holding $2,000. I know I'm being extra right now, but it's just how I feel about this phone. If you check out Twitter and you want to see who bought this phone, not a single person is not so crazy excited about what this phone has to offer. Oh, by the way, if you're new to the channel and you haven't subscribed yet, please do me a huge favor. Hit both the like and the subscribe button. It's a tremendous help to the channel here, and I truly appreciate your support here. But anyways, in case you may not be aware, here are some very quick specs here. The front screen is a nice 6.2-inch HD Plus AMOLED display with 2260 by 816 for the resolution. And that screen takes up almost that whole front up there, which is very different from what we saw in the original Galaxy Fold. The refresh rate here is 60 Hz, which now, no one should be complaining about the refresh rate on this front screen simply because it's just that smooth and because of the size of the screen also. But because I'm actively looking for things to complain about on this phone, I would say that a 90 Hz refresh rate, that would have been great, right? It definitely would have been great, but either way, 60 is still very smooth. So like I said, it's just me literally looking hard for things to complain about. Now let's go ahead and get serious again. In my experience over the past few days, I've been making a lot more use of the front screen than the than the large screen. The biggest appeal on this phone is that gigantic screen when you go ahead and unfold it open. But like I said, I've been using a lot more of the front screen, and that's just because every time I pick up the phone without realizing it, I'm accomplishing all of my tasks just on that front screen. Meaning I hardly need to go ahead and open it, but just for fun, I typically just go ahead and open it anyways. You may be wondering what typing is like or feels like on this screen, because it's not your typical regular phone size screen. It's more on the skinnier side, right? And for that, I have to say that typing on it the traditional way may not be as comfortable as it would be on the regular size phone. Clearly because a regular size phone or a regular size screen is much larger. And by typing it the traditional way, I kind of mean one letter at a time. On the other hand, if you were to use that SwiftKey route, which is, by the way I typically type anyways, whether it's on a regular phone or on this screen. Therefore, typing on this small screen hasn't really bothered me much, again, because I don't typically type one letter at a time. Once it learns your typing habits and the type of words that you use a lot, then you'll be ready to roll. I'm pretty sure right now it's still learning what types of words I use a lot. So because you're doing the bulk of your work on that front screen, it's actually a very good thing on the battery, right? Because I've been using it so much, battery actually has been really good. I mean, you may have heard other people talk about it. It actually has been really good. I can't really confirm to you a good SOT. I've gotten a few different ones, but I can tell you that overall it's pretty good. That 4500 milliamp hour battery along with that battery management are definitely working miracles on this phone, especially given the type of screens that you're dealing with here. You're dealing with a huge screen that's an AMOLED display and another front screen which is also an AMOLED display, and you have 4500 100 milliamp in this phone, and it's still able to last a lot longer than I actually anticipated. Again, I can't really confirm my average, but if I were to guess, I would probably say around 7 hours SOT, at least based on the different SOTs that I've been looking at. So if I'm doing the average of all 3 days, I'm looking at about 7 hours. The phone obviously is wireless charging capable, and it's also reverse wireless charging capable. Now let's go ahead and jump on that main screen, which is a huge 7.6-inch AMOLED display with 2208 by 1768 for the resolution. And like I mentioned earlier, or in my earlier video, you have that variable refresh rate that goes up to 120 Hertz, making the experience just so amazing. I'm still getting used to that little crease there, but it hasn't really bothered me like that. But every now and then I'm kind of reminded that it's there, but it just kind of disappears in the back of your mind. So you get 12 gigs of RAM in here with 256 gigs of internal storage with no option to expand that storage. Now here we go. And that right there would be the first legit thing for me to complain about. 256 gigs of internal storage, that's definitely fine for me. My Galaxy Note 10 Plus had just that. It had 256 gigs, and I don't even think I went past 180. I do have a micro SD card, you know, that I carry with me, and that was it was in my Galaxy Note 10 Plus. I'm just saying, for people who carry around very large files, for people who be doing, you know, tons of editing on their phone and things like that, maybe if they had, you know, that option of being able to use a micro SD card, I would have been better for them. I mean, 256 and then they just shut it off. I don't know. That's just one thing to complain about. So that's my first legit, you know, gripe about this phone. I don't need it, but I'm just saying for people who do need it, maybe they should have included that. But anyways, it's running Snapdragon 865 Plus, and performance so far has been just off the chart. Again, that is kind of expected. The Snapdragon 865 Plus is literally the best on the Android market right now. It's buttery smooth, it's snappy, just multitasking feels like nothing. It's just a breeze. It handles it like you just had one page open. It's just so amazing. And since you are multitasking on the large screen, you're just able to just grab and move things all over the place. And those things that you're moving around are actually larger than they would be on a regular phone. Let's say if you were multitasking on a regular Samsung Galaxy Note 10 or something, icons or widgets are actually larger on this phone. It's definitely good for me. I've noticed it because I'm generally accustomed to doing multitasking on my Galaxy Note 10 Plus, and this here, it takes it just to another level. No S Pen to kind of make it easy, but it does take it to another level. And speaking of that S Pen, if you followed me for a while, then you know that I'm a huge fan of the S Pen on my phone. So this is kind of the second legit complaint I have, or the second legit gripe, I don't know if you want to call that. The second legit complaint that I have about this phone. Now, I typically carry two phones just to make sure that I have my feet in both iOS and also the Android world. But generally speaking, my main phone is the Galaxy Note, and the secondary phone would be an iPhone of some kind. Now, because my main phone is generally a Galaxy Note, and I'm so used to using the S Pen, it's gonna make it kind of tough to turn this into my main phone because I don't have that S Pen. Now, don't get me wrong, the past few days they've just been flying by. I didn't even realize that I have been using this phone for that many days already, but it's just because I'm so excited about it. I just don't know how it's gonna be practically without the S Pen, but we'll get to see. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that I already miss the S Pen. I definitely do not miss it. I've been just so excited over this phone that I haven't noticed that I'm missing the S Pen, but we'll see how it goes before the full review of this phone. Media streaming experience is just out of control on here so far. You're literally watching or enjoying your content on a tablet. That's essentially what it is, right? You open it and it's literally just a tablet size phone, and you get to enjoy it on that large screen. You can just sit anywhere and just watch whatever you want to watch on that huge screen. I also like the fact that you can start watching something on the front screen, and let's say it gets really interesting and now you want to go ahead and transfer that into the larger screen. All you have to do is just open the phone and it's just gonna continue. It's kind of a uniform way of moving one image from the small screen into that larger screen for you to enjoy. And here's something that's actually interesting. Since I've had this phone, I've only taken it out twice, and they were really quick runs. So like run out, came back in, and another time it was yesterday, I just went out and came back in with the phone. I'm not too willing to actually take this phone out there like that. It's supposed to be my main phone at one point, but I guess what I'm trying to do here is just wait for the case to be delivered before I can start using it as my main phone where I take it out all the time. Again, as I mentioned, I typically carry two phones. I have the iPhone 11 Pro Max that I carry as my secondary phone, and I would normally have the Samsung, whichever Samsung device that I have with me as the main phone. But because this thing costs so much, and I feel like if I go out there and something happens to it, probably just gonna pass out. So I've been just keeping it inside. The other times that I went out, I actually was carrying my Note 10 Plus and my 11 Pro Max as usual, and then come back home to this phone. As a matter of fact, technically T, if you follow him on Twitter, you may have seen one of the things that he posted where he was actually calling all of us, the people who bought this phone, he was calling us cowards for not wanting to take the phone out, right? Because no one wants to take their phone out until the case is actually delivered. I'm actually gonna put the link in the description to his channel. You should check him out. He bought the same phone and he did an amazing unboxing. He did a bunch of other videos on it, so you should check him out. He does amazing content. So technically, T, if you're watching this, hey, listen, I can't take this out just yet. I'm still just gonna wait for the case before I can take it out. But anyways, so this wasn't really meant to be a review, as I mentioned. It was more of just kind of a few days initial thoughts, and I wanted to keep this video kind of short. Not sure how long we are into the video right now, so I'm gonna stop here. And so far, my impressions are very, very positive. I've been so extremely excited about this phone, and I'm pretty sure you can tell just by the way this video went and by the way I talked about all these different things. So far I have no doubt that I'm gonna keep this phone. So far, zero doubt. I know I am going to keep this phone. I just feel like a kid. You have no idea. The last time I bought something for myself that I was so excited for, I can't even, maybe my first car. I think my parents helped me. They kind of matched the money that I had to help me buy my first car. That was the first time, like that feeling of being a first time car owner. That's what I got buying this phone. It's just a toy for me, and I love it so much. So I don't see myself returning this thing unless, of course, something drastic happens. Let's say like the Galaxy Note 7. We all know what happened with that. So unless something like that or something just as drastic happened, I'm definitely going to be keeping this phone. Thanks again for sticking with me up until the end of this video. I know it may be a long video. I'm not sure. I'm going to figure that out during editing. I hope you enjoyed the video, of course, and the plan is to go ahead and prepare a full comprehensive video on this, and please look out for that. It should be coming out very soon, maybe within the next week or a couple of weeks or so. I just want to use it as much as possible before dropping the video. Again, I do appreciate your support. Please don't forget to like, comment, of course, subscribe. I'm going to catch you in the comment section. Definitely going to catch you in the comment section, and I'm also going to catch you in the next video. And up until then, stay safe out there.